The AUKUS budget announced by Prime Minister Albanese is $368 billion. If $1 million were expended each and every day, it would require more than 1,000 years to fully expend the AUKUS budget. When people sleep rough and some obtain their sustenance from garbage bins in my city, Brisbane, how is this expenditure justified?
Thanks, John.
Well, I think there are three parts to an answer to your question, John. First of all, governments invest in their own national security, and that's what we're doing here. Second of all, there are really important industrial benefits from this investment. Good, secure, well-paid manufacturing jobs of the kind that we've been talking about tonight. And thirdly, these investments haven't come at the cost of big investments in housing or a tax cut for every taxpayer or Medicare or all of these sorts of things. What we've been able to do by managing the budget much more responsibly and managing the economy responsibly is to find room for our priorities. And I think cost of living, obviously primarily, the future of our industrial base, very important to us. But our national security matters as well. Every responsible government makes big investments in national security. Our job is to make sure we get value for money and that we also get that industrial and employment benefit from it too.
I'm getting that you're not a big fan of AUKUS.
I'm definitely not a fan of AUKUS.
Who is?
Well, I don't know, but why?
Jim mentioned the benefits in industry and manufacturing, which I certainly don't support. The manufacture of weapons of war used in foreign countries, we seem to follow America into disputes offshore. The obvious cases are Afghanistan and Iraq, absolute disasters. And it seems to fit the narrative of the Americans for us to invest heavily in weaponry and war.
How about the idea of securing our region?
Yeah, look, I'm not opposed to us having a military, but that amount of expenditure, in my view, is just obscene.
Absolutely.
$1 million a day.
It is, Jim Chalmers, it is a big ticket item, and I do think in the community there are questions about that expenditure, right?
I understand that. And John's not the first one to raise it in those terms, and I respect you, John, for the way that you've raised it. And it's not your view is not unique, but it's not a view that I share. To be upfront with you, you know, every government is asked to invest in its people, its economy, but also its national security, and there will always be a range of views about the best way to do that. And I think this one is particularly contentious. But it is a big investment, but over a long period of time. In national security, nothing really kind of comes cheap. But I can reassure you, John, and everyone here and watching at home, that these big investments that we're making in defence are not coming at the expense of all of these other important investments, some of which I would anticipate that you'd support.